Here in Tampa, Florida, at Lowry Park Zoo, at least the manatees have a safe refuge.
What we're going to do is we're going to flip her over. And,
Rosie is recuperating from an operation in the manatee hospital and rehab center.
here you go, guys.
After draining the pool and putting her in dry dock, staff veterinarian David Murphy gives her a weekly checkup.
You gotta have patience when you work with manatees.
And we're going to try and let her roll over.
We're going to talk her into it if we can.
Just tickle her stomach.
Yeah. That's her problem. Come on, girl. Hey.
Come on, girl.
Here we go.
Here we go. Whoa. Oh, I see.
Talk to her.
Whoa.
There you go. Jump on her. There you go. Sit on her right now. So what we got here is just some surgical scrub and some alcohol wipes, and we use this to clean this area. Notice I'm going to stay on this side of the animal.
So that's not really hurting her that much.
It tickles a little.
Boy, that's a big wound. Now, do you treat a lot of manatees?
That's right. This facility was built specifically for the rehab of injured manatees from the wild. It gives the individual animal a chance to recover in a controlled environmental situation where we can administer antibiotics and take care of injuries and give them their best chance when we release them back into the wild.
Okay, Rosie. Okay, wake up. That's the girl.
The Manatee Center also has an underwater research area.
We suspect that they might have very low frequency hearing, just like elephants.
Huh.
Right now, here comes Buffett. Right now, you can see Buffett.
So he's hearing that sound in the water.
Yeah, he's definitely, you can see him orientating towards the transducer right now.
He's looking right at it.
Scientist Ed Gerstein of Florida Atlantic University is studying the manatees' hearing in hopes of saving them from the noisy and deadly boat propellers.
The three questions that come up in terms of manatees, why are they hit repeatedly? Is it just that they aren't bright enough to make the decision to move out of the way the next time they get hit? Well, we proved that that isn't the case. They are very intelligent. They can make choices. The other question is, are they just too slow? Well, they can explode with a burst of power, and they can move as quick as 22 feet per second. So that brings us to the other question. Is it possible that they're unaware that danger is present when the boat's there? Can they even hear a motorboat? So that's really what this research is all about, to really define what manatees can hear. And if we can find frequencies that they hear, and if we prove that maybe they are at what we call a sensory disadvantage or a hearing disadvantage in terms of dealing with boats, then maybe we could develop something for a boat that would make it identifiable, that the animal could learn to localize it and evade it the next time it comes around.
We spent a lot of money on the manatee exhibit because we think that manatee conservation is probably one of the most important things in terms of conservation in Florida. They're really endearing creatures. They have a kind of cartoon cuteness about them, and seeing them above the water, they look like big cigars. It doesn't really do them justice. You have to get down in the water and see the manatees at their best. There's nothing that's probably more important for a kid than to see a live animal, and you don't realize how important it is to save something unless you understand it.
Northwest Trek is a very special nature park. It started out as someone's backyard. And then this man bought 600 acres of land in western Washington state. And in 1971, he gave it to the people of Tacoma. This is Dr. David Hellier. He still lives right here in the center of this beautiful nature preserve. Doc, what's it like living here?
Wonderful.
God, I wish I could do it. Let's go see the park. When you go to Northwest Trek, you feel as if you're going on a safari. Only instead of traveling to Africa to see lions and elephants, right here in Washington state, you have the thrill of seeing American wildlife roaming free. Doc Hillier's done what I've always wanted to do, create his own wild kingdom. He lived right in the middle of it. As a youngster, David Hillier loved nature and roamed the Northwest by horseback. He became a pediatrician, but Doc and his wife always planned to retire to their cattle ranch in the foothills of Mount Rainier. Then he had another idea.
As a wildlife preserve, it was just a natural to me, I mean, it just struck me. And every time I rode my horse through here, and I'd say, the Black Angus didn't look right. This ought to be bison, ought to be elk coming out of that point of woods. And, the whole thing just suddenly became a picture. Hey, how are we going to do this?
How Doc Hilliard did it was to give the land to the Metropolitan Park District of Tacoma for $1 a year. And in 1975, his dream of Northwest Trek became reality. We'll be going along a couple of different types of lakes. We're going to be going through beaver pond areas, open meadows. Today, visitors can share the park with Doc Hilliard, taking trams right to where the animals live. The animals will choose different habitats depending upon the time of the year or even their needs at that time of the day. Just keep an eye out wherever we go. Don't hesitate to holler if you see something I might have missed. One of the largest collections of hoofed animals in the country wander freely over more than 400 acres. So each bend in the road brings a new wildlife experience, from a herd of bison to a family of grazing mountain goats, to a one-of-a-kind antlered creature. You never know what kind of wild animal you're going to run into here. Northwest Trek has a great discovery center where you can really get inside the animal's skin. Let's go take a look, Blue. Why do you have that stupid thing on anyway? Huh?
I don't know.
Golly, there you look like a woodpecker.
And they were saying, whoa, we have a wild animal. He's dangerous.
Now, this is a bear here, right?
Mm-hmm. This is a bear.
It's a bear.
He rips open
It's just an eagle here.
it grabs food. Doesn't.
Wow, look at that. Look at the difference in those claws.
See how it has hooks.
Oh, yeah, it's sharper.
It's
a lot sharper than this claw here.
It swoops down and picks it up, picks snakes and stuff up and eats them.
Huh. Doc's wife, Connie, can be found at the Discovery Center most days, encouraging kids not just to look, but to touch and feel.
All toads have bumps like that. And frogs have a nice smooth skin. You want a penny?
Froggy.
Yeah.
Not far from the Discovery Center, visitors can see predators prowl around their own spacious enclosures.
I want them to take away a consciousness of what a wild animal looks like. To recognize wildness in the posture, in the alertness, in the muscle tone, in the expression, in the carriage, and realize that these are wild animals, because that's where the beauty is.
Although he loves all the animals, Doc's especially fascinated by the antlered members of the deer family.
Antlers are one of the most interesting features that has ever been evolved, I think, because they really don't make any sense at all. First of all, the females don't have them, and so they're not really a defensive weapon. And even the males only have them for a short time of the year, maybe half the year. And when they are growing at this fantastic rate of, say, half an inch a day, that they're consuming such an enormous amount of energy. And of all of the antlered animals, the caribou carries the most enormous head. And there's one bull here now that can hardly get around because his palmated antlers are so enormous. Those antlers typify masculinity in some way. They are so proud of them, the way they carry them, their whole posturing. They show them off to the greatest possible advantage.
A park resident that's always fascinated me is the beaver. You know, I've got about 6 different jobs, and people are always telling me that I'm as busy as a beaver. But I've never really figured out what that means. I mean, look at this guy from Northwest Trek. You call that busy? Actually, the beaver is one of the great builders of all time. It uses its paws like hands, its sharp teeth like chisels, and will gnaw at trees or apples until there's nothing left. When they dam up a river with the fallen logs to make a home, they can create beautiful ponds. In fact, their ability to alter the environment is second only to human beings. Another family of beavers lives in a more remote area of the park. I had the rare and very wet pleasure of trekking through their neighborhood with wildlife biologist Ed Cleveland.
Well, it looks like a great day for beaver, Dad.
In fact, I found some Savin here just the other day.
Huh.
Here's a nice beaver chewed on tree right here.
How long took a beaver to do that?
Well, a beaver can go through an 8-inch tree in probably 2 to 5 hours.
The half-chewed tree was a big clue. The beaver's home couldn't be far away.
Here's a beaver lodge right here, Jack.
Looks like a big pile of sticks to me.
Well, it actually is. That's what they do for making their lodge. They bring all the sticks up here and pile them up, and they burrow underneath to make their sleeping quarters inside.
You know, Ed, beavers are supposed to be so busy. How come they're not busy right now?
Well, actually, they're inside sleeping.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's so damp out here. I'm going to go back to my lodge and sleep too.
Okay.
There's a mystery and a peacefulness to Northwest Trek that makes it one of the most beautiful places I've ever visited. It's not only Doc's dream come true, Northwest Trek is an inspiration to us all. You know, recently we've heard a lot about the animals disappearing in Africa and the rainforest being cut down in South America. And really, we have very little right to criticize other cultures when you look at what we've done with our own animals right here in this country. The grizzly bear disappearing from the lower 48. The American bald eagle, all but gone except for Alaska and Florida. And of course, the beautiful manatee, the gentle giant of the sea, some people say. And that's what zoos are all about, preserving our wildlife heritage. Because after you've seen a creature as wonderful as a manatee, you'd never want it to disappear. We'll see you next time.